Prior to my Tundra, I had a 2016 Tacoma, and I've had a lot of questions from viewers wondering whether I missed the Tacoma. In today's video, I want to talk about 3 things that I do miss, 3 things I don't, and let you guys know whether I have any regrets about buying the Tundra. The all-new 3rd generation model of the Tundra is a lot more off-road capable than the prior 2 generations, particularly models equipped with the TRD off-road package, which offer a number of electronic and mechanical enhancements that you couldn't get before. In addition to the 2-speed transfer case on 4-wheel drive models, the multi-terrain monitoring system offers 4 different traction modes for driving in 4 low, as well as 4 modes for driving in 4 high. It's got crawl control, hill descent control, and electronic locking rear differential, and there's also a multi-terrain monitoring system available on the Tundra now. All of those things make this truck very off-road capable for what it is, but it's still a full-size truck, and with that there are some definite drawbacks. It's very large, it's bulky, it's wide, it's very heavy, and that's going to affect some of its capability. There are a lot of trails that I took my Tacoma on previously that were very narrow, a lot of obstacles, where it's just not even going to be an option to try to take the Tundra because of its massive size. Likewise, driving through really deep snow or sand, the additional weight of the Tundra is probably going to come as a disadvantage. And then also the front approach angle on the Tundra is pretty poor when compared with both the Tacoma as well as the outgoing 2nd generation model, the Tundra. Another thing that I definitely miss about the Tacoma is its smaller size for urban driving. The Tundra is a lot bulkier and it's harder to navigate on crowded city streets in tight parking situations. I've also found the turning radius to be quite poor on the Tundra, which was a little bit surprising because my 3rd generation Tacoma was the long bed model, so I would have expected the 2 trucks to be pretty comparable in this department, but they're not. There are many situations with the Tacoma where I could easily pull into a parking spot, whereas with the Tundra, I'm doing a multi-point turn. And so that's definitely been a drawback with the Tundra, particularly because I tend to be very particular about door dings. And so I found myself struggling a lot more to find that right parking spot, and oftentimes parking much further from my destination to avoid crowded parking lots. I don't tend to worry too much about what other people think about me, but there was definitely a certain cool factor that you got with the Tacoma that I'm not so sure that you get with the Tundra. The Tacoma is universally loved. Pretty much everybody knows what a Tacoma is, and most people like them as well. And there's a very broad demographic of people that drive them. The Tundra, it's a lot more focused. It's more of a niche vehicle. And certainly the styling, particularly on the all-new 3rd generation model, is very controversial, and it's kind of a love or hate it kind of look. I've always liked the look of the interior on the 3rd generation Tacoma, but in reality, the material quality is pretty poor and the seats are incredibly uncomfortable. The Tundra, in comparison, is a huge step up. It's got much nicer quality materials, better build quality. It comes with a much higher level of available options and features. And then, of course, because it's a full-size truck, the cabin is much more spacious, which has been particularly nice for fitting car seats and giving my kids plenty of legroom in the back seat. One thing I definitely don't miss about the Tacoma is the powertrain. The Tundra's powertrain is far, far superior in essentially every capacity. The jury is still out on reliability. This has gotten off to a rough start with some of the turbo and wastegate issues, but it's an all-new model from the ground up. It's only been in production for a few months, and I've got confidence that Toyota's going to figure out those issues, and this will prove to be just as reliable as other Toyota powertrains. But beyond that, just in terms of pure performance, this is so much better than the Tacoma. My 2016 Tacoma had the 3.5-liter 6-cylinder, which is the most common engine on the 3rd gen Tacomas. It offered 278 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of torque, and was paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. This Tundra is equipped with the standard gas engine, which is a 3.4-liter twin-turbo 6-cylinder. It's got 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's also offered with a hybrid component, which gives you a bump to 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. So you're getting more horsepower, you're getting more torque. It's also got a much higher payload capacity and tow capacity, and the EPA rating is actually about the same for fuel efficiency. My Tacoma was rated at 18 miles per gallon in the city and 23 miles per gallon on the highway. My Tundra is rated at 17 miles per gallon in the city and 22 miles per gallon on the highway. In both cases, real-world fuel economy falls far below those numbers, but essentially the same between both the Tacoma and the Tundra. The other thing that's worth noting is this is just a lot more desirable to drive. drive. It's quicker, it's got a much smoother transmission, and never have I felt like there's a lack of power with the Tundra. Going over mountain passes, driving at highway speeds, merging onto the highway, this thing has a ton of power. Putting a set of 35-inch mud terrain tires on it basically didn't affect its power at all. It has so much and it's still very quick. The Tacoma in comparison leaves a lot wanted. Anybody that has driven a third-generation Tacoma with the automatic transmission knows that those transmissions tend to search quite a bit, driving at highway speeds, over mountain passes, towing. They have a tendency to jump around quite a bit. All of a sudden, they'll be revving really high, and they just feel kind of gutless. And then, of course, towing exacerbates that. Putting on oversized all-terrain tires like I did exacerbates it further. And there were many times that I wish that it had more power. Again, in the Tundra, there has never been a time where I felt that way. And then, of course, this powertrain is also just so smooth, so quiet, and it's just a lot more pleasurable to drive than the Tacoma. The Tacoma is very nice to drive on the trail, and every time that I would take it off-road, I was reminded of how much I loved the truck. Unfortunately, the day-to-day driving had the opposite effect because it wasn't the most comfortable truck to drive, it wasn't the smoothest, it was underpowered, and it was inefficient. And the Tundra, in comparison, is like driving on a cloud. It's very smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable, there's a ton of power, and it's nice for the day-to-day drives, it's nice for highway road trips, and it's also very comfortable off-road. In summary, both trucks offer different advantages and disadvantages, but for me personally, the Tundra is much better suited to my current needs. That's not to say that I wouldn't consider another Tacoma down the road, but for the time being, I'm very pleased with my decision to move up to the Tundra. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and for more videos of the all-new Tundra, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.